right. That's right. What's going on, fellas? Welcome to the Flan Fan Show, coming to you guys live, and it's a great edition here because it's postseason time. That's right. We're going to be talking about the playoffs here, season 17, and it all starts tonight. Season opener. That's right. We got a series tonight. So after this show, In the Crease will be airing. So make sure you switch off after that. But let's introduce the panel here. Who we got here tonight? You know, this guy's wearing a mask over there. I don't know if you guys can recognize, but he's the locker room analyst. Welcome aboard, Mr. Marine Mike. How you doing there, Mike?
I'm Mando.
He's a Mando, man. He's a Mandalorian.
Awesome. And what about the guy in the back, man? The guy that's doing all the operations here on the switchboard, Mr. Johnny Blaze. Blaze, how you doing over there, brother?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling very good. I'm very happy to be here. I'm excited. It's playoff time. This is what we've been waiting for, and I'm excited to be doing the show again with you guys. Me rocking my Battlefield 3 T-shirt from like 17 years ago. Good times. Still fits.
Awesome. And this guy doesn't need no introductions, fellas. You know, he's the legend. He's the icon. He is Giant 918. What's up, Giant?
Yeah.
www.239hockey.net. Follow us on Twitter at 239hockey. Guys, I'm really pumped up. We got the playoffs coming here, and they start tonight. Unfortunately, it is not on the website that I can tell, unless I'm out of my fucking mind, guys. But it's kind of upsetting that I have to get this information from none other than our 239 insiders. Guys, I'm not too happy, but I am pumped up for our analysis tonight. First series we have are the Simps versus the Ice Frog, and it's basically the best of 7, so they have a 4-game series tonight. And guys, like Hollywood said earlier, you're going to have to switch off after this. The series will be played live. I don't know on whose Twitch TV that's going to be, Holly.
It'll be on Johnny Blaze, same channel, so you can't miss it.
We're going to switch it to so I have it on the Flan Fan Show scene. After we're done here, I'm going to switch it over to the In the Crease scene, and I'll just broadcast it. We're going to have it just like a regular old night.
Yeah, you may need to hit the refresh, but that's about it. You ain't got to go nowhere, you know. Same Twitch channel, 239 Hockey. Giant, I agree, man. I mean, the site should have the schedule up on there. The stats have been in. Regular season is done. Everything's finalized. As you can see on the bottom, the leaderboards has been updated to reflect the end of season leaderboards, who leads in goals, points, assists, and everything. All of that is on here. But tonight it's about the playoffs, and that's what we're going to talk about here. You know, 8 teams made it here in the playoffs. Unfortunately, 4 teams have been eliminated out of the 12 that started. I mean, I'm looking at the 4 teams that did not make it here. Is there any type of surprise here? Did any of you guys think any of these teams had a chance to make it into the playoffs? You know, you had Kerdog's team, Winters coming, who had a very rough season here. To start, he was involved in a lot of trades because things were not working out. He had that he put all his chips in on Mashat Pa, but that did not work out for him. And then above him, you had Cabaret's team, you know, which I thought was fairly. He did fairly good on the draft, but he spent a lot of money where he towards the later of the draft, he kind of struggled. He did go in a lot on K-Dog, which did not work out. K-Dog playing forward this season. I don't know if you realized that, but it seemed like he struggled. That offense was not clicking. He was always looking for that other defensive partner on there. And, you know, they started kicking in later in. He did do some trades, but it was too late. And the 2 teams that really were fighting into the playoff spot was Yambag's team and was also Swizzy's team, but neither of them made it to the playoffs. They had their shot, but it was a little too late for that. Any surprises here, guys, that you thought that Yambag was maybe going to make it, or Swizz was going to make it, or did everything just fare off the way it is right now?
That's exactly what I thought, Hollywood. I thought Yambag's team, a.k.a. Daly's Wet Noodles, I thought they had a shot to get in there, but Orange Suss ended up squeaking out that last playoff spot over there. That's basically what these other teams were fighting for. High expectations of Daily Wet Noodles. They were basically playing against They were playing to try to get into that last playoff spot, and they didn't. Unfortunately, maybe, I don't know. Maybe, I mean, my understanding is Yambag, he ended up going for vacation, but he's got 30 games in. So even though he went on vacation for a while,
he missed one series. He missed one series.
Yeah,
there was the holidays, and that series they won when he was there, so it really didn't matter. But Orange Sauce gave these teams a opportunity. Why? Because Orange Sauce pretty much stunk it up the last couple weeks. Actually, in their series they've lost. They continue to lose. They got swept on there, but they're still in the playoffs because the other two teams were not able to capitalize on that, basically. And that's what it comes down to. So Sauce is in. Everybody else is out. We have that playoff bracket on here. Johnny, if you want to pull that up, let the viewers see who's in the playoffs here. We got the matchups, 1 against 8, 2 against 7, and so on. One of that series going on here tonight. So there you go. Season 17 playoff bracket. So number 1 seed, Cobra Kai Puckers, led there by Odd Guy. They're going up against Pale's Orange Sus team. Below that, you have number 4, Boondock Saints, going up against Young Kelch's Classic Hits. Then number 3 against 6 is Washed, having the number 3 spot, going up against Crosby Niels for Malkin, led there by Flaming Dragon. Washed, obviously, you got Hergy, the captain there. And lastly, 2 against 7, number 2 seeded Simps against the number 7 Ice Frogs. So those are the matchups on here. We're going to go in here. We're going to give our predictions. Who we think are going to win. Give me your reasons why on here. And then, so let's start off here. What series, man? Pick anyone.
Well, let's start off with the series going on tonight. It's the Simps versus the Ice Frog guys, and basically this is what we're going up against. I mean, this is the first series tonight. There are 2 tomorrow, and then 1 on Wednesday, I think. Flame, please correct me if I'm wrong.
That is correct. Tuesday's the only night that does not have. So tonight. Monday has 2, and then Wednesday has another one, and those early ones have 4 games in it. Okay, all these teams finish on Thursday. That is if there is a Thursday. If one of these teams gets swept, that's it. They're done. They're out of there. But if they win at least 1 game here, or it's tied up 2-2, they'll go on to Thursday night to finish the last 3 games. It is best of 7 here every round. But yeah, Simps against the Ice Frogs. Simps are the number 2 seed. That's the team that a lot of people said had the best draft in 239 history, led there by Float. I put together a highlight video of the guy. He's not only the captain of this team that drafted this caliber team here, but he's also your score leader. He's your points leader. He leads the league in plus and minus on here. He's going in here as the number 2 seed, but frankly, I think this team should be the number 1 seed. I don't care about their record. I know they had a lot of part-time players on here, so maybe schedule conflicts here and there, where they don't use their top A line every night, obviously, because there's 2 series each week. But I feel this team is very tough to beat.
It's not only that, Flanny, but all the guys who work part-time, who play part-time, they play their part. They're doing everything they can to win these games. The Simps are absolutely the team to beat this season. I mean, I don't even know how much of a chance I give to the Niagara Ice Frogs. They might win 1 game this series, but the Simps, you are correct over here that Float and the rest of his crew are absolutely outstanding. The line is having a pretty damn good season, too. 82 point save percentage, 2.47 GAA, and dude, that's manageable. I mean, you can win the cup with that, Flanny.
So you're taking the Sims.
I just want to point something out here.
What about you, man? Maureen, Mike, who do you got here, man, in this series?
What you got?
See, here's the thing. Like, it's hard to call this game due to the fact that if you don't remember, week 1, the second series, Simps versus Ice Frogs. Ice Frogs swept the Simps. Scores were 4-2, 4-3, and 4-3.
Okay.
That is true. He does bring up a point there but it was also early in the season, week number 1 on here, where the Ice Frogs not only won the series, they swept them. But also keep in mind, Wizzy War was not in there. Rondon Volante was not in there. And if you expect they're not going to be there tonight, you're crazy.
And that's the sole reason why I think the Sims is going to take it this week.
Rondon Volante, when he's on the ice, they are 13-2.
Wow.
So I can't say much anymore on there. And listen, I know they got a lot of part-time players. A lot of people question this team in regards to that. Yes, they might lose some games there or not. But look, they only need to win 4, so they don't have to go to night number 2. And it's not like they have a bad team on night number 2, but it's a team that is beatable, that teams have been able to win games and even win series against. But if they sweep tonight, who cares?
Right?
Done.
So it doesn't really matter.
Blaze?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with the Simps as well. I mean, they've just, especially with that especially with that A line. I mean, it's too dominant, and I don't know with the Ice Frogs. If they want to win this one, they're going to need Hugh Laurie in there. No, I'm just buzzing now. I'm going with the Simps.
Good old Hugh Laurie.
We need Hugh Laurie in his 1 goal, 3 assists, 67% shooting. But no,
they might need something, man. They might need a prayer. They might need some EA bounces going on in this series.
Yes.
I think one key thing to look for in this matchup, I think it comes down to, the Ice Frogs have a good offense. However, the way they finished this season, you might as well not call them the Ice Frogs, but Ice Cold. Because that's what they've been. They barely pulled their last series against the number 11 to those guys. Other than that, they lost 3 or 4 series in a row heading into the playoffs. That's not a good sign, Yes, early on they may have been able to beat the Sims, but when it's week number 1 of the regular season, do we even factor that in on here at this point?
Yes.
I don't want to take the win away from them, but it's a lot different now. Even though. The Ice Frogs pretty much have the same roster on there. They only swapped out their goaltender on here. And I think he's got to come out big. And I'm talking about superstar on here. He's got to be able to steal a game. If he's able to do so, and they're able to move on to night 2, even if they're down 3-1 in the series, that puts them in a pretty good shape, But he's got to steal that game on here. And another guy to watch out for here, I think Geineman, the defenseman on there, which I put a big question mark. I see the Sims attacking his side on there, and he does also tend to take a lot of penalties. You look at the penalty minutes, he's up there, man. He's like top 5 in penalty minutes. You're going up against a great offense that scores on their power play. I think maybe even be the number 1 power play team in this league. So you take those penalties, good night. That's it. 4 and they're done, man.
Okay, so in the chat, Phoenix Rising brings up an interesting point. A good point too. What are the chances that the Simps B line doesn't get to play these playoffs? So if they sweep tonight, that Rondon.
What do you guys? I mean, we all picked the Simps on here. What do you guys think? Is it going to be a sweep here? Are they going to? Well, how many games do you give this series? 5, 6, going all 7?
5 games.
I
think the Ice Chokers are going to get 1 win, maybe.
Yeah, I'm
Superstar steals the game.
5.
I'm saying 4-2.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, the Ice Frogs can win. I mean, they're good enough that they can come through with a win or 2. I don't think they get swept, but I think it's going to be in 5.
They could, man. I mean, they got that good offense. I mean, Sauce Walker, the Snub, Young Buffalo, guys that have been clicking, and he hasn't made any trades. So these guys have been playing the same roster all season long. So there is definitely chemistry. You got Hall of Fame on defense over there locking things down, who also brings a great offensive threat on there, but it just, for me, it's a concern of how you ended the regular season, and as the Ice Frogs, you cannot be happy the way you did so. And here you're coming up against the Simps, who last Thursday night, oh man, playing against the Classic Hits, these guys not only won that series, I mean, they embarrassed the Classic Hits on Thursday. It was unbearable to even watch on there. So it could easily happen here tonight. You may have that same blowout on the air, or we'll see if the Ice Fox, like I said, could at least try to sneak one in here, pull one through, and make night 2. I think that increases their chances a bit. But I'm going with the Sims tonight. It's going to be a wrap, 4 and done.
Couple comments in the chat. Mashot PA.
Oh, wow.
Could that be a
4
bad
and
look if
done.
they end up losing in the finals and that line doesn't play for a while? That's a good point. And then Schwartzy 83 with the talks for MVP. He's picking talks for MVP.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay. They're the number 2 seed on here, the Sims. So besides against Cobra Kai, which if that does happen, that would end up in the finals. Where Odd Guy does have that advantage. You got your 4 games and 3 games on the other night. So he makes that call on there. But making it to the finals, I think the Sims here at the number 2 spot look real good. Unless there's some availability issues or Float can't get his guys. In that series that they lost against the Ice Frogs, you got to understand. They, like I said, they didn't have Rondon, they didn't have Wizzy War. Plus, I think they used Dangles and Knife in Your Guts on defense or in that roster. So it was a mess, man. But we'll see. Sometimes, here's the thing. Sometimes it's a game of matchup. You could look at the record. You could look at this. Obviously, the Sims overpower this team in every category. But it comes down to the playoffs. Who can step up on here? And maybe they got their number. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see if they could prove us wrong here tonight.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Let's move on here. Next series, Giant. Who do we got, man?
We got Cobra Kai versus none other than Orange Sussin. I want to give a shout out to Pale Poner. He came on with us last week, did the interview.
That was
he
awesome.
felt confident. He's been playing out of his mind this season. He just absolutely melted down towards the end of this season, guys. I think if anybody's going to get swept, it's going to be Orange Sus over here against Cobra Kai, because they are just lighting it up, man. Cobra Kai, they got lots of dangerous weapons over there, Bomber and Cobb. These guys are absolutely fucking outstanding. Shout out to Brick City, dude. I guess he's their goalie, and he's been in it for all season too. So shout out to these guys. They should have an easy series over here, guys. I don't know what more can you say. Is Orange Sus even going to get one win, Johnny Blaze?
I hate to say it, but it might be a sweep. I mean, Orange Sus kind of had that really that downturn at the end of the season. They had some bad fortune there, and they held on to their playoff spot. Fortunately for them. But Cobra Kai is just lighting it up. I mean, they're just a powerhouse team. Brick City's playing amazing in that there. They got a great squad. And shout out to Pale Poner who's been playing his ass off for that team. I mean, he's trying to keep him in that. There were some close ones there, but.
Yeah, I'm also going to say sweep as well. I mean, you got the Cobra Kai. I mean, you got the Vesna. He needs to be declared the Vesna. I mean, he has the most shutouts. He has the most wins. So if he does not get the Vesna, then this would be just completely bullshit. But not only that, you got to remember, Pale has not been winning series, let alone games at all, since he traded Ozzy for Mox. I mean, he's been they've been terrible. So with that alone, I'm going to say they're going to get swept 4-0.
I agree, Mike. I agree, man. 4-0 here. I think we got 4-0 all across the board here. Does anybody else think that Orange Sus even has a chance? And if they do, what chance is it going to be? I mean, what do they got to do here to win, to even win a game here tonight? I mean, we're saying 4-0 sweep against this number 1 Cobra Kai team who leads the league in giving up the fewest goals. You look at they just played last Thursday to end the season on here, Wednesday. I mean, They played, the last series, and it was a sweep, and they got shut out twice in that series. So that just tells you, you can't put up a goal in 2 games. That's pretty bad, man. Mike, you bring up a great point. Once Mox came in, Ozzy went out. That's it. This team was done. Fortunately for them, they're holding on to that 8th spot, and they were able to hold on. But how much longer? I think Monday night is done, man. That's it.
Yeah, that Cinderella story's going to end.
And here's the thing, man. I mean, he brings in Mox, and then I seen Mox play defense. I see Mox on the right wing. I seen Mox on center. Same thing with Nick the Greek. I seen him play defense. Started off the season on the left wing, so he's rotating all these guys around on here. Here's what I do. If I'm Pale Poner, here's the lineup I bring, man. I put myself on defense. Instead of forcing Nick the Greek to play defense, instead of forcing Mox to play defense, we know Pale Poner can play defense. So why force a forward to play defense who's not comfortable in that position? I put myself on defense on here. And doesn't mean I'm putting myself on defense and bringing Ando to play forward. No, keep Ando where he's at. Have Pale Poner with Anderson on defense so they lock it down. Look, Legion's playing great for you. Legion's probably having one of the best seasons here for quite some time. You talk about a comeback player on here in that. I got to give it up to Legion. I mean, he's been in the top 10s here last 3 weeks on here. But besides that, you look at his stats, he's got pretty good numbers on a team like this where he did not start in net with them in the beginning of the season when they were hot. He came in net there when things were a bit shaky and things were going on the downhill, but not him. He's been pulling stats. So if you put Pale Poner, you put Anderson on defense there, I think it brings out a different team. When Cobra Kai goes on the ice and they see that, it could throw a team off. You still have your forwards on there, and one guy I think that needs to be on the ice is Dangles. You got to put this guy on the ice. Why not? Don't keep him on the bench. This guy put up mad points for you when he played on there. And the reason I bring this 2 seasons ago, Odd Guy, he drafted Dalai Lama, who we know is a great forward. And what did he do? He made him play defense with him. A lot of guys were, is that going to work on there? It did. They took down the number 1 team, which was, I believe, Power Kill at that point, and was one of the biggest upsets at that time on there. And I think Pale Poner could do the same on here. Lock down the D, have sober enough. You got Dangles, your other wing, and make Mox has to play center. Mox can play center. I've seen him play center on here. Put him on there, and then. And it also starts from that defense. They're able to get that lead out pass. They're able to get that pass. You might get sober getting the breakaway. You look at the series when the Sims played Odd Guy's team. How did they beat them? They stole the puck. They gave up like 5 or 6 breakaways on the other end, and Brick City was not saving those. I don't care how good he is, how good his stats are. You're giving up breakaways, those type of chances, and that's what Orange Sus needs to do on here, if they're going to have a chance here, because the lineup he's rolling it with now, it ain't working, Pale. I'm sorry, man.
See, Pale has suffered this season with what I call the Yambag syndrome. He kept moving his guys around and around and around, just like Yambag trades his people around and around and around. There's no consistency in the line. There's no consistency in the same people at the same spots, so you can't build that chemistry. And because of that, he was Yambag this year, and he suffered. And he barely made it into playoffs, as you can see.
I think he pulled the trigger too early, Mike, man. I think he pulled the trigger way too early. He came on the air here last week and said, they didn't win this series, or they didn't beat this team on there. So what? I mean, the Saints lost the series.
Too. He said his entire rest of the closeout was going to be easy, a cakewalk.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, man. There's teams that have lost series. They didn't go on, okay, I'm going to change everything around. I'm going to start training all my guys through. No, man. It's beginning of the season. I thought they had a solid squad. Nick the Greek, Pale Poner, and Ozzy. That was a great forward line who was dominating on the points, at one point. What happened? What caused him to change that? One
Ozzy
series
wasn't
lost.
asking enough.
Ah, man. That's bullshit, man. I mean,
that's what I
heard. Listen, you need a guy that's going to put the puck in the net, man. Right now, who's putting the puck in the net on this team? 2 shutouts?
Nobody.
There you go, man. 4-0 sweep, man. I don't see this happening. Pale Pulner maybe got to hit up church mass on there. Pray to God or something, man. Pray to the EA gods to give you guys some EA bounces. But I don't think it's even going to matter.
Okay, guys. So moving on to the next series. This should be the series. I think this is going to be the series of the week, the series of the playoffs, at least for this quarterfinal round. And this is none other than Wasp versus Crosby, and both of these teams are pretty damn good. You know, this is the number 3 team versus the number 6 team. Now, Wasp, they might be a little bit better. I think this is going to be the series of the week. Maybe I'm wrong. Lots of great players on here: Hertzy, Gala, Build, McGilla over here. Crosby's has Flaming Dragon, Marty McFly, Dominator Silva. These are known entities. Johnny Blaze, B Crips. I think this is going to be a fantastic series. We'll see what happens, guys. But I think Crosby's going to take this in 7, guys. I mean, this is how I feel right now. They got. You know, I like their lineup and stuff. They could go. It looks like Blaze only played 5. He's a non-factor in this series, most likely, unless somebody's having a baby or
of this
something.
Organization here.
Yeah. I mean, you might be there for comic relief or some shit,
times.
You know. But
that's why they pay me to
for the
leave
most part. Yeah, these guys are a pretty incredible team over here. Again, this is going to be my series for the playoffs for this quarter round. Hollywood, what's going on? What's going on in that head of yours?
Listen, this is going to be a tough battle here. Number 3 against number 6. But I think you could factor out those seed ranks, because these teams could be anywhere on the ranks. And, you know, Crosby finished the season real well. I thought they did real good, especially after the trade. Now, here's a team that improved on their trades here. You got Anthrax, you got the captain, Flaming Dragon, who those two have been offensive threat to a lot of teams. And then picking up Marty McFly alongside with Yin, who's having a phenomenal season here. And then you got B Crips in that. That's a tough team. That's a tough spot here, I think, for Washed. You know, even though it's number 3 against number 6, but I think they're going to be in the battle here. This Wash team, you know, they picked up Mashad Pa. You know, they looked real good though Thursday. I'll give them that, man. They definitely dominated things on here. They've had some tough losses here and there, or else they might have been at this point as the number 2 or even number 1 seed. But number 3 is good enough here. But it's going to be a tough one. I think it goes 4-2. I think at least 6 or 7.
Yeah.
But man, you know, I hope they don't let me down. I really hope they don't do. I'm taking Washed here. I mean, Bills hasn't had his best season. You know, he's going up against B Crips. I got to give goaltending to Crosby. You know, but just that offense, man. You got Mosh, you got Hergsy, and I'll throw in Gala, man. You know, you got those guys. I think it's going to be very tough, man. You know, Marty McFly is going to choke here in the playoffs. He's done so before, man. I'm going to watch, man. What about you, Mike? What do you think?
So, a couple of things. Going into the series, the last time these teams met up was back in week 1. And it was game 1, Crosby wins over Wash 5-2. Then Wash answers back with games 2 and 3 with a 2-1 win and they won 2-1. And then third game, Crosby won third game 4-2. So, last time Crosby won this series, and this is way before the trades that happened and everything like that. So a lot of things have changed between the two teams. But going into this, I still feel like Crosby still has a stronger team than Wash. Not by much, though. What I'm going to say, it's going to go to Game 7 overtime for Crosby.
All right, so you're going Crosby. Johnny Blaze, I don't think I even have to ask you, man. You're part of the Crosby.
I'm part of the. I got to go with my boys, right? I got to go with Crosby, But no, all things aside, I do think it'll be Crosby in 6. They've got the hot hand going in the playoffs. Flamin' Dragon is just, talk about unleashing the Kraken. I mean, he's just been on fire. Martin McFly, like I said, but in the past, he's a guy who can, out there. I've really enjoyed seeing him on right defense this year. He can really quarterback a play. He can really take control of play. He's a great communicator. Just a guy who can really drive everything through. So, and then picking up, with Anthrax in the lineup, just amazing. And of course, you got reliable old B Crips in net there. When you got that, it's a good package. I mean, and it's Yin's having a heck of a season. He's been a really breakout player. Then acquiring Dominator Silva was a big one too. So.
I agree, man.
And if you get me in there for a game or two, there's going to be some grinding. So I'm going to grind in front of them.
Nice. They're definitely going to be grinding in this series. Dom Silva brings in a great factor here for this team, where they already have 2 great offensive weapons. But one thing to look at for here, the defense here on Crosby, Niels Formalki, as far as goals against, they are number 2 ranked team. The only team above them is the Cobra Kai Puckers. They've only gave up, I think, 80, 81 points. So we're going to see how good this Wash team really is. They're going to be really tested here against this team. Can that offense put up the points that we have seen in the past weeks here? It's going to be tough. You got Marty, you got Yin, and then once you get past them, you still got to get past B Crips back there. And, come playoff time here, B Crips, he's going to want to step his game up on here. It's the playoffs here. But look, Mosh was here last season, and what happened? He took the whole damn thing on his rookie season. So this is his second season. Is he going for cup number 2, the title? He's going to try to win the belt for the second time. Very could well be.
Mashapa's saying 4-0, man. Mashapa's saying 4-0.
4 sweep. Wow.
He's got the sweep. He's got the right sweep.
That's a lot of confidence, man. We think here the series is going to be a lot longer. Mostly panel guests here on Crosby. We'll see. We're going to keep our track of our picks here, see how we do. But, Marsh, I'm with you boys, man. I'm with your guys here. Don't let me down, man. It doesn't have to be 4-9 sweep. Just win the series. What else we got, Brian?
Okay, guys. In our last series over here, it's going to be Classic Hits versus the Boondock Saints. And this should be a pretty even match, too, but I don't know about that. Outstanding team, Boondock Saints. They got lots of known entities. Surprise me, John Monkey, Drug Monkey, D-Mart, Crazy Yeti, Colinelli, Master Shotgun. Shout out to Master Shotgun, too. He felt pretty confident when we spoke with him last week, and I think he's going to ride that confidence through this series against the Classic Hits, who's led by Toxac, and young Kelch over here. He's way far behind Toxac, but when you have a weapon like Toxac, a lot of other things could go wrong or whatever, but they got guys like Ian the Berean, who are he seems more of like a liability than anything, Ian the Berean. And the only issue here for the Boondock Saint that I see, guys, is if Crazy Yeti Killer can't make this series, man, because it looks to me also like Colinelli is a liability. He's got a -28 over here in his plus-minus. I don't know if that's a typographical error, but if that is accurate, that's extremely concerning to me. And my understanding is that Crazy Yeti Killer has 16 or 17 children, so I have no idea how he could put aside 2 hours for a series over here. And I understand how there's a potential that he could miss a series. And this is for the playoffs, fellas. So if Crazy Yeti Killer if he ends up playing in this series, I think they got a great chance to win. 4-2, they're going to win this series. But if Colinelli is playing, they have some real fucking issue, guys. Marine Mike, what do you think, buddy?
All right, so last time these guys played against each other was, I think, back in week 1 as well, and Boondocks swept them. There has been A lot of changes, and because a lot of those changes, especially from Couch's side, he has been rising up through the ranks, and they got in where they're at today because of the trades he made. He made a blue round me. I didn't think he was going to make it, and he basically told me to shut the fuck up and prove me wrong. But Boondocks have been consistent throughout this entire season. But the biggest part is where it's going to come down to is the power play and the penalty kills. All right, these two teams has some of the best special units in the league this season. So looking at it, we have Boondock Saints. They only have an 18.8 power play percentage, but they have an 82.8 penalty kill percentage. The Johnny Kling's on Classics, they have a 34.2, which is the best in the league for the power play, but they only have a 75.4 on the penalty kill. Still high up there. But it's going to come down to the penalties. Which team does not, pretty much whoever you want to take the least amount of penalties is going to win this game, because both of them have excellent power kills, so and power plays. But I'm going to say it's going to be Boondocks in 6.
Okay, you and Phoenix Rising would agree, because Phoenix Rising in the chat he's saying Saints.
But it's definitely going to be a penalty power play war out there. Yeah. I mean, they're just going to be locking each other. It's going to be a solid game. It's going to be very low scoring. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, I think too. It's going to be low scoring, a lot of close games. I'm going to go with Saints in 7. I think they've been very consistent the whole season. Johnny Kelch's team. He's got a great team out there, and with Toxac just a monster. But they've had a lot of ups and a lot of down. You catch them on a bad day, and they're gone. They'll be done. But Boondocks, I like this. I like them. I think they're gonna do it in 7.
I think this is going to be the series of the week.
Yeah, it's definitely a candidate. Did you guys ever watch A Fresh Prince of Bel-Air back in the day?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so I'm talking about Toxac now. So you remember the episode where Will Smith, Carlton, they play on the basketball team, and coach called a timeout. He's like, "Okay, I don't know what to do. Give the ball to Will Smith." So if you're a Kelch's team, give the puck to Toxac. Give it to him. Let him do some magic. If you have any chance, give it to Toxie.
Okay, Hollywood.
I agree, man. I agree. He's definitely been a threat here this season. But here's the thing, man. You look at it. Look at the stats. Yes, Kelch's team has some good stats. Some players on there. One in particular, like Toxic. However, I'm looking at the schedule here for Classic Hits. And when did they put up those points? They put up those points by playing some of the bottom teams, like Winter's Coming, like High Expectations, teams that are not in the playoffs, when they had to play some of the top teams, some of these teams that you see that aren't in the playoffs, they did not win those series, whereas on the Saints, they did. They beat the Cobra Kai Puckers. They beat the Simps here this season. They beat Yambags there to finish the season. And I think the Saints, when they swept them in the beginning of the season, was not a fluke. Yes, it was opening night there for both teams. But D Mart has been on fire. And Kelch has a lot of rookies coming in here in the playoffs. And when it's the playoffs, you got a rookie goaltender against a veteran master shotgun on here. Stuff happens, man. And I'm going with the veterans. I'm going with the guys on here. They may have to grind this one out. Yeah, might go 7. I think I feel more like 5 or 6 on here. But I think, I talked to Drug Monkey earlier on here, and I was like, what do you think about the series? He said, one thing, Hollywood, not bet against Dean Mart. I'm not, man. I'm taking the Saints here in this one, moving on.
All right. These are our predictions. We're pretty much on target. There were a couple of differences in the last series, but everything else looks like we're all together on who's going to win We'll see if there are any surprises this week, guys. And I'm sure Blaze will be spending lots of the nights with you guys during these series. Anything else you got on your plate, Holly?
Well, on here, I just want to say, congrats to the teams that made it to the postseason. Good luck tonight. Tonight, like I said, opens up the Sims against the Ice Frogs. In a few minutes, we're going to switch off to the In the Crease on there. We'll bring you guys the play-by-play commentary going on live. And throughout this playoff. So we'll be here each night. Besides, I think Tuesday is the only night that there is no games,
right.
But the other nights we will be there. And depending how much series are still left come Thursday night, if either of these teams been swept, if neither team gets swept on here, then we'll have 4 series on Thursday. So the more the better. I don't care,
Makes for a fun night.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. But we'll be here every week, we'll recap for you guys on next Sunday the results out of all these games, and then obviously we'll have the predictions for the semifinals. We'll see how we did on our picks. Let us know what you guys think. Who are you taking on here? Are you going against some of our picks on here? I feel otherwise. I think the 4 against 5 and 3 against 6. Going to be a tough battles there. We all agreed on Cobra Kai and the Simps walking through on here round 1. We'll see if that happens. And also check out the site. There's been a lot of new videos posted, top 10 plays. You got the score leader, points leader, float highlight reel, the hits reel, even a fighting video reel there. There'll be more videos coming too. With the playoffs started kicking things off, we will be also bringing in the 239 rewind back. I'll be doing the editing starting after tonight's series, so I'll make sure we're on top of those things. But it's going to be fun hockey. You got to love it's postseason. It's playoff hockey. It doesn't get any better than this for 239. A lot of leagues come playoff time, they stop the media. They don't do the media. Not here, man. We're going to be bringing more of the media here since it is the playoff time here.
All right, guys. We appreciate Mike? All you guys watching us, man. Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, yeah. We didn't touch base. I want to know what teams you guys think is going to win it. Who's your favorites to win the entire playoffs?
Okay. Well,
I told you the Simps. The Simps, they're the team to beat.
Simps?
My final prediction is going to be, I'm going to go with, I don't know. So everything gets reseeded, right, after this? You guys go ahead. I'm going to think about this for a second.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm going to have to go with Cobra Kai with the Vesna winner, Brick City.
Could be their year.
Wow. You know what? The thing is, I like the odd pick there, Mike, but I'm looking at the last couple of seasons here. That number 1 seed has not done it, man. And him being at that number 1 seed, I don't know how Odd feels about that. It hasn't been the case here in 239. So sometimes it's a curse. Sometimes it's not good to have the number 1 seed. But they get the advantage here over the other teams. They've had a phenomenal season, but there's also a lot of rookies on that team. Heading into the playoffs here. And they'll always get the lower seed heading into, so that is definitely a big advantage. So this team should definitely get into the finals. Will they win the whole thing? I disagree. I don't think they do. I think I think both the Simps and the Boondock Saints look real good. The Simps, listen. When Drug said this is the best team drafted on there, he was not joking on there. I still think that is the best team here, even though on the photo there might say the number 2. They're really the number 1 team here, I feel.
Look, it doesn't matter. All these captains did great this season. And speaking of captains, I just want to let everyone out there know, hey, we are getting to the end of this season. So if you want a captain, please get a hold of Young Couch, send them a message, let them know you want to be a captain for season 18, so we can start rounding up names early. So when we start opening up registrations for the draft pool and stuff like that, we won't be running into it's like, hey, we need captains. Let's start getting Couch those names now. So if you're interested, throw your name in the hat now.
Always happens. So if the earlier you can get it, the better.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
We need Giant as a captain. I think that'd be great. We need Giant.
No way, guys. Ain't nobody got time for that. Thank you, though. I appreciate
That'd
it.
be fun.
I really appreciate it.
The gentle giant.
Yeah, that's the last fucking thing I need to get out of here.
Oh, man. All right, fellas. Well, a good show. Great show on here. We'll be back next week. And like I said, make sure you switch off to in the crease for the Ice Frogs against the Simps going down in a few minutes. On behalf of everybody on here, it's Jim Flanagan, Marine Mike, Johnny Blaze, and Giant 918 for the Flan Fan Show here. Have a good night, everybody. See you guys on In the Crease.
Good night, everybody.
5 minutes. I'm going to switch over. Have a good night, guys. See you in a few.